Hey guys, Jeff here, and welcome to my 1974 home. This is my Forever Home series. Today's project, we are actually insulating our rim joist. So we thought we'd take an opportunity to set this up so that we could go through a few different options for you. We're going to show you the good, the better, and the best option. Been a lot of things that have changed over the years. So let's just start off with, back in 1974, this is what you got. And if it was done well, it was one piece of insulation that filled the space. And that's all they had. And the reason for this is, back in 1974, energy was basically free, and homes were made out of 2x4s, okay? So you would get that piece of insulation right there, 3.5 inches thick. This is an R12 back in the day. Today it's an R14, still the same thickness, not sure why the difference, but the point is this. You get just as much insulation in that little air cavity there as you do in your walls upstairs, all right? And so that's all they did. They would put insulation here, boom, and boom. Now, 1974, they did not even have a building code. So there was no plastic going on the walls, and there was no insulation, no framing. They just put some strapping and a little bit of wood paneling and called the basement done. Time to party. Now, things have changed since then, obviously. Out with the old, in with the new. Nowadays, things are done a little bit different. So nowadays, the builders, the minimum code is R20, because they're making all of the homes with 2x6 framing. That gives you a deeper cavity. You have a thicker piece of insulation. Okay, and the building code makes it so that we have to have the same insulation value downstairs as we have upstairs. So what we're doing now is they're sticking this in here all the way to the back, and they're realizing they need this insulation to come right to the front. Okay, there you go. So they're bending it in. So what you do there is you effectively get an R20 against the outside wall and coming across the top of your poured concrete. And so that becomes a continuous system, because then you would also, in this environment, you'd have your R7 or R10 rigid foam, and then you would add another piece of batt here that fits the 2x4 frame, and so now you've got a continuous R20. That's not bad. We also have vapor barrier in our building code now, so that you would finish this off with plastic, little acoustic seal, staple it all up, seal it all up, and that's your air barrier. That's not terrible. But then somebody came along with a brilliant idea and said, hey Jeff, why don't we do this a little bit better? Why don't we make an air seal at the rim joist? And so what they've done is they said, we're already having this foam on board at the job site. Why don't we cut it just a little bit smaller? There we go. Watching out for all the nails and the protrusions, okay? They'd shove the rigid foam in there. We got door and window spray foam. Now this is different than what you've seen. Most people see the great stuff, right? This comes with a DIY interior nozzle, and you can thread that in. It'll break the seal. Thread it down nice and tight. Now, little test here. And we're live. And this is where the sloppy mess begins, right? You get right in here and you're throwing some spray foam. You try to do this with some control. Okay, now this became the new industry standard. And what you get there is you get an air seal to all of these connecting pieces of lumber from the outside, as well as a thermal block. It also is not insulated enough. So then you take your insulation and you'd have to place it over top and fill that cavity even once again. This was getting done all the time, all over the place. Now you'll notice that this insulation is now in contact with the rigid foam. So you do get a thermal break. There's two different things you want to pay attention to here. One is thermal bridging and one is thermal break. A thermal break is when there's nothing but insulation happening behind your framing. Thermal bridging is when you have insulation framing. So having a thermal break is the best system. Now, this was the gold standard for a long time. And that's because spray foam was limited to the little cans. And spray foam contractors, if you wanted to hire a guy to come out here and actually use the spray foam and fill up that space, it would cost you a fortune. Nowadays, we have an option as a DIY community. We can buy spray foam, 2 parts, mix it with the gun, and spray our own rim joist. Let's show you that product right now. This is called a 2-part system. We got tank A and tank B. And when you buy it, there's a barcode right down here. They only scan one of these codes, guys, okay? Make sure they don't scan both boxes, or you'll pay for the whole system twice. You'll notice that on here it says box 1 of 2, okay? And then that's box 2 of 2. in the world of construction, that means this is one sale. That UPC scan symbol probably shouldn't even exist on this box. It's very confusing. And your person working at the store should know that. So go to the contractor desk when you check out. They're a little bit more educated about the product lines. All right, here we go. We're gonna open this up nice and simple. Right out of the gate, we got a big warning sign here. You're gonna read this before using the product. I'm gonna take a second and look through. Foam must be applied in layers to avoid overheating or combustion. So if you don't wanna burn your house down, you gotta read the note. Never exceed 2-inch thickness per layer of cured foam. Aim for a target of 1 inch, okay? That's good. Let it cool down between layers. There's a quick curing time where it's chemically activated and it's hot. Okay, here's part B. So here we go. It's one gun with 2 hoses coming in it. So you bring a line from each, and when you pull the trigger, both of the lines fill up with the product, and then it distributes a mixture on contact. It turns into foam. If you stop for more than 30 seconds, you gotta replace your spray tip, the mixing tip, okay? So that's an important little gizmo. This also has an open and then closed. All right, so if you're gonna stop spraying, close the system, boom. Doesn't tell me which one is which. Come on. There we go. Now we've got it sorted out. That's all we needed to know. There we go, finger tight, okay? In the closed position, all right? Open, closed, there's not much difference. We're gonna also wanna wear the safety glasses. We're gonna wanna wear the gloves. I'm gonna wear these just for now, but the truth is they're not gonna last. I'm actually gonna use a pair of construction gloves and use them as throwaways. I'm gonna be starting and stopping a few different times, and I know that this whole program is a little bit messy. Eye protection is a must, and away we go. Now, they did have information here about the temperature you wanna store this and use it at. We're a little cold today. It's supposed to be the summertime. Things are supposed to be nice and hot around here, but today they are not. This has got notches and grooves. You just slide on and give it a quarter turn twist. That's it, and we are good to go. Now, this is gonna underperform for me right now because it's cold. If you've with us before, I've used a can system like this before on a crawl space. It was a stone, it was a crawl space, it was cool, it was in the shade, and it underperformed there too because it was cold. You wanna get this warm, about 70 degrees, okay? Or like over 21. We're about 20 degrees in down here, maybe 19. It's a little chilly. Okay, but that's it. I'm gonna show you the science of how to do this. I got my gun closed, haven't mixed it yet. I got a good tip. Once I get started, I can't stop for more than 30 seconds without closing it and removing the tip. And that's not a big deal. They give you like 20. But let me just go through the science here. I'll use this as a pointing stick. Air gap possible here and here and here because it's all construction nailed together, all right? Even plywood, when it comes to the factory, it can be delaminated while they're changing out things and thicknesses change and wood warps and bends, but it's sitting on a sill plate, which is basically another 2x6 or 2x4 even, flat across the concrete wall. Now in this case, we don't even have poured concrete, right? We've got block, which means it's a lot of inconsistencies. And the only thing they've got sealing that off is a little bit of black tar paper. So what you have when you really take a look here is concrete with tar paper with air gaps between the two. Tar paper to the wood is gonna have air gaps because the wood isn't flat. And then the rim joist is all nailed on. And take a look at this. You're gonna have gaps like this where the boards are put together. They're just butted up against each other. That's gonna be an air gap blowing through there as well. All of these things are working together to cause you problems. This plywood actually goes over and on top of this as well. So there's a possible air leakage there. When we're talking insulating, and we're talking rim joists, there's really 2 major issues you gotta deal with. One is the insulation value, your R value. The other one is air sealing, okay? So, what we don't want to do is fill this cavity like this and go, we're good. Because this scenario here, it has a weakness. That spray foam doesn't account for the gap under the sill plate, and it doesn't account for the fact that the stone itself is about 1.5 inches away from that sill plate, okay? Which means the masonry of this building is bringing in the cold from outside in the wintertime right up from behind here in front of here. So what I'm looking at is I need a system that is going to give me an air seal here, all the way down, all the way to the front, and then yes, I even want to spray right up to the edge of my framed wall. So this is ideally done before you even finish your framing, okay? You can spray it up to the foam here, but if you do that, if there's no frame, you got to spray foam to here, but get about 1 inch up, okay? That 1 to 2 inches that sits on top of that concrete is going to be killer important for your thermal break. So here we go. Let's give this sucker a shot. Oh, I have to turn the canisters open, don't I? Jeepers creepers. How do you? It's not telling me. Hold on a second. It's counterclockwise, and you just turn it. It says don't use tools. You got it? Okay. Turn that off. Does that even fit on this? Hold on. We're good. Okay. All right. Now, it also recommends that you spray a little bit into a garbage bag. I'm just going to use the box. Now both components are in the handle, and that's officially spray foam. Here we go. Let's go get a seal. Wow, that is so much better than the product I use in my crawl space. Okay, so we're using a downward angle here to make sure we get that air seal. And if you have framing, why not? We're going to close that off. This is going to be more than 30 seconds. Disposing of it. Where's my box? I've got this little tool here, okay, that I can put my cans on, and it has a gun that opens and closes. It doesn't dry out in the meantime, right? It's good. You just store it upside down like this. And it comes with this little spray can here. And it can be threaded into the gun, so I can clean the whole system out, or it also has this little spray nozzle on it, okay? And it's perfect for cleaning off your gun. This is management, so you're going to want to get one of these great stuff gun cleaners. It's telling us to give it a minute to set up. You see, I'm getting almost 2 inches of foam here. This is the crazy thing. That is like a complete insulation cavity. If I want a little bit more R value on that, I can give it one more spray, and then it's perfect. Now we're going to do that because there is a system out there. It's called Flash and Bat. And what you can do is you can go cheap on your foam here. I'm going to do the next cavity over, and we're going to go a little cheaper, and I'll just show you what Flash and Bat looks like. Here we go. It's a lot less foam. Yeah, that's not going to be quite enough up there. There we are. Okay, you can get the idea how messy the system is, right? This is why you don't want to do your whole home with this kind of a kit, because it is extremely messy. That would be what we would call Flash and Bat. That gives you just enough material that you seal up all your gap, and then you come along, because that gives you about an R10, and you can shove this in for the extra insulation value that you want, okay? And then you can put your vapor barrier up right in front of it. So then you get your wall frame, you get your plastic in there, that works great. The reason I like this system better is you have to remember, when you're looking upstairs, this floor, you don't want it cold. You want the heat from the room down here traveling across this cavity, getting up to there, because if you have tile or hardwood upstairs, and the first 3 or 4 inches of the flooring never touches a warm surface, your flooring is in 2 different temperatures, you're gonna get expansion and contraction issues. So by going full foam like this, I'm actually going to be able to get an R20 with only 2 inches of foam, no problem. If I go to 3 inches of foam, I am way over insulated. This allows me to have that warm air mass making it up to that flooring, okay? This is why I'm saying that this is the best system. You get what you pay for. Bottom line, here's the deal. The foam is expensive. This canister here is enough for me to do the entire rim joist and probably another house, okay? So they come in different sizes. Unfortunately, for the purpose of my job today, it was the only one in my area that was available, so I grabbed it anyway. And I'm just gonna go full foam instead of Flash and Bat because I've got the product. You can do one of 2 things. You can save money now and go just a bunch of insulation, have air leaks because there's no air seal, and you can pay for it for the rest of your life with energy bills and an uncomfortable basement. Or you can get up to this level, okay, and get an air seal and a thermal break and overdo your thermal, okay? And you're gonna have the most comfortable basement ever. Because the #1 reason that people have drafty basements is the rim joist. So solve that problem. Pay today and then have cheap energy and a really comfortable room forever. Now there's one other area we gotta deal with here, and that is not all part of the house is looking like this, right? There's the other side, the other direction, the one that runs parallel with your floor joist. What do you do there? So let's run over to that part of the installation and we'll show you how to get that one done as well. Here's the difference between the 2 different colored tips. You're probably asking yourself, and it is all about the size of the spray. The round one puts a lot more material in a smaller area and you get more grow, more buildup. The yellow one, it does a wider stream. So I'm gonna demonstrate that for you right now. You can pick what you want. If you're gonna go Flash and Bat, go with the yellow because it sprays less material and it'll just get your air seal. Like here we go. Okay, and here's the white one. This one shoots a lot more material in a smaller spray. Both of them will work. You just have to decide what problem are you trying to solve. I'm more interested in getting 100% foam as my solution. So my situation is going to be one where I'm going to be shooting probably with the white gun most of the day, and then coming back and doing a second coat because I want to get to the full 2 inches. So spray to get 1 inch, let it do its job, let it cure up, let it cool down. You're going to come back here, you put your hand up, you can feel the heat. If it's hot, don't spray again because you're going to have a combustible probability. You could set your house on fire. All right. We're looking to try to get foam right from this edge all the way back like a slope, and then hit the rim joist as well, and even onto that ceiling just a touch. Okay, like I said, it's a messy, messy business, but it is a little bit of fun, to be honest with you. Okay guys, so here's the deal. I was working with the white nozzle. It had a lot more content coming out. It was a little violent, and it was starting to spray itself and push the other foam around, inconsistent, and I was getting too much bunching up, okay? And I don't want too much volume of product in one application because of the heat. So I'm going to the wide spray instead, and maybe we'll just have to go with like 3 passes and take it easy. A few more passes of that ought to do the job. Really gentle on the spray nozzle here. Okay guys, so let's just talk cost real quick because we had the 3 different options, right? Just a straight up bat. If you're gonna do that, it's gonna be like $200, maybe $300 for your installation for the whole basement of your house, all right? And mine is an 800 square foot footprint, so that's the relative cost. When you're gonna upgrade to go to the R20, you're gonna double your installation, double your cost, so there you go. If you go to use the foam board first, and then the spray foam, and then insulation, because you don't have a lot of space to work with and you're trying to get closer to R20, then you're gonna almost double the price again. Sorry, so you're up to about 800 bucks to go with that rigid foam board, plus insulation, plus the foam cans, and that's a lot of work. This spray can system here will do my entire basement. It's $1,200, and it guarantees me an air seal right up to the edge of this foam, okay? No fooling around. I don't have to get my vapor barrier up and in all around my joist. So now to finish this off, traditionally we have a frame, wall with bat, okay? I can come back with my spray foam can and spray the top of my plate to the existing foam here and air seal that. So now my plastic vapor barrier only goes to the top of my wall frame, and I'm officially done. An acoustic seal bead, done and done, and it's about the same price and a lot less labor, and it's more efficient, and it gives you better R value. So do yourself a favor. If you want to go with the old-fashioned system, fine, save your money today, pay for the rest of your life. But if you want to enjoy your basement, and you're going to invest time and money building it and doing something nice for yourself and your family, get the spray foam canisters. It's $1,200, do your whole house, and then you can come by and do a second coat and get an R30 in that rim joist. It's the weakest link in your home, and it's the #1 reason why people can't enjoy their basement once they're done. Don't let that happen to you, because by the time you're finished renovating and you're trying to enjoy it and you realize it's cold, it's too late, because this problem is solved at the very beginning of the renovation. Cheers, till next time.